It's been a year since I became a homeowner here in the UK. Woohoo! And over the period, many of my friends have bought houses or flats of their own. But there are certain things about buying a home which we did not know about or even hear from anyone. And over the period of being homeowners too, there are some valuable nuggets that we've gathered along the lines. And things we really wish we knew before buying a home. And so in this next series of videos on home ownership, I'll be sharing with you some very valuable lessons about what it means to be a homeowner, how to get a good mortgage due, what are the things to look out for when buying a home. Should you buy with your partner or you should buy alone? Essentially, everything you need to know about buying a home. And this will be relevant to those who are considering or contemplating buying a home, or even those who already own their own homes. What are the opportunities that you may be missing? So, let's dig in. Hello everyone and welcome to Diaspora Careers and Investments. If you are new on this channel, my name is Shadrach, and in today's video I'll be explaining what it means to be a homeowner. What does it really mean to buy your own home? Why must you aspire to buy a house or a flat? The first reason why I think you should own your own home or aspire to be a homeowner is because it's an investment. About a year ago, when we bought our house on the northwest of Glasgow, we bought it for $165,000. At the time, we were able to raise a very generous deposit of $45,000 because I was already thinking of buying my own place, and my wife was also thinking of buying her own place. So when we put our resources together, we were able to raise, a generous, deposit. So yeah, I had my own lifetime ISA, and my wife also had her lifetime ISA. So we both got the government, bonuses and put it together. So if you've not seen my video on lifetime ISA, do look it up. It's quite popular. So that is something you can also do. So that's what we did. But that also meant that because our deposit was quite high, the interest rate on the loan that we took was quite low. So that can be an advantage for you also. So we took a loan or a mortgage for the remaining $120,000, and which we've been paying over the last year, and we have a few more years, quite a number of years to pay the remaining. But the advantage is that by living in this house and paying that mortgage or that rent, some of that goes towards the bank as interest and some towards the principal. And I think in the last year, we've paid about $10,000 off the loan that we took. That means that if we sell the house today, we would have about 45 plus 10,000, which is, 55,000, which will come back to us. And then we'll pay the bank the remaining money. Compare this to renting. If we were renting and paying even £500, per month, it would have meant that over the last year, we would have paid 5 times 12, which is 60. So we would have paid £6,000 in rent, which, our landlord would not give us, even a penny or even £100 that, oh, Shadrach, take this for being a loyal, loyal landlord. We wouldn't get anything. But because we own the house, whatever we pay, some goes to the bank and some come to us. So that, is a good thing. Also, over the last year that, we've lived here, we bought the house for $165,000, but the house is now valued at $180,000, which means that we've made some capital gains on the house. So that if we should sell the house today, we've made a profit of $15,000. And so we can add that to the equity that we have accrued. We can add that to the $55,000 that we have accrued in the house and, move on with it. We can choose to use that money to buy a single house, a bigger house, or even split the money into to buy 2 places and rent one out. So that is the advantage of actually owning your own home. It helps you to build equity, and that is a good thing. The idea of building equity in your house, however, should not lure you to go for an expensive mortgage because you think that no matter how much you are paying, some is coming towards you and some is going towards the bank, so it's okay. No, you ought to check the proportions. How much of your mortgage really is coming towards you or is helping you build equity, and how much of the mortgage is going towards interest. I recently spoke to a friend who has got a mortgage of $200,000 for a house he's buying, and the mortgage is given at 6%. That means that he's paying 6% on $200,000 each year, and that works out to be $12,000 in a year, and so $1,000 per month. So whatever amount he's paying for the mortgage, say 1,005 or 1,002 or 1,008, £1,000 of that is interest for the bank. And his current rent is just about £700. And my rule of thumb is this, that if the interest you are paying on your mortgage is more than your current rent, then perhaps you would want to reconsider. I know some people would argue that, Shadrach, it's fine because the value of the house would rise over time. But what if the value of the house drops? And that is a reality we live in at the moment, where given rising interest rates, value of houses are predicted to maybe fall. And it's an investment. It could go up or it could go down. So you want to make sure that the rent or the interest on the capital you've taken is also affordable, and not always going with the mindset that the house value would rise. It could also fall, at least in the short term. So be mindful of that. The second point why I think it's, good, or you should consider owning your own home, is because it increases your credit score. And that is actually counterintuitive because, one, you need a good credit score to get a mortgage. But then when you get a mortgage, it also actually pushes your credit score up. And that actually opens you up to the market to get access to, cheaper loans and a lot of loans. I was speaking to a very good friend of mine a couple of days back, and he was telling me that, Shadrach, after going for this big loan, this big mortgage, the banks are now pushing more loans on me. Barclays is asking me to come for a loan. I was like, well, be careful. They are luring you, but it's because they know where you live. Because if you rent a house and you go for a loan, you could change addresses, the next day, and they will struggle to find you, theoretically speaking. But if you own your house, that means they know where to find you. And so they are more inclined to give you the loan. But let me warn you here that do not let these things lure you to go for more loans than you can. Of course, loans can be good to buy, a car, to do Uber, or, to do whatever you want to do. But some of these loans are actually secured against your house. So do check them out. If you're going for a loan, I would lean towards going for a loan that is not secured against the home. Because if you don't pay those loans, your house can actually be repossessed. So I would tend to go for personal loans that are not secured against the house. Of course, it means the interest rates for those ones may be a bit higher, but I'm comfortable with those ones than going for one secured against the house. So just be mindful. But yeah, owning your own home can actually build your credit score. The third reason why I think you should consider owning your own home is the security, the peace of mind to build, your wealth. I've already spoken about the opportunity to build equity or the capital gains when the value of the property goes up. I've also spoken about, the ability to access cheaper loans if you own your own home. But this time I'm talking about the peace of mind, the stability if you have a mortgage. Because we would usually fix our mortgage for a period of, say, 2 years or 3 years or 5 years. And within that period, your mortgage amount doesn't change. So that unlike renting, where your landlord could raise the rent every month or every year, in the case of mortgage, which is fixed for a period, the amount is the same. And I like that stability. I like that peace of mind. If your mortgage is, say, £500 or £700 or £1,000, you know that in the next 5 years, it's not changing. And so it gives me that peace of mind to plan accordingly. But again, let me warn you that be mindful, be careful not to fix yourself in a bad mortgage. Because what that also means is that if you fix yourself in a high interest rate mortgage for 5 years, you cannot come out of it until the end of the contract, or else there'll be early repayment charges. And that can be, costly. So be mindful of the kind of contract you are getting into. But once you get into it, it gives you that peace of mind to plan the rest of your expenses. The fourth reason is that it allows you to know where you're putting your money. Before I actually bought, our house, every month, something will come up and, you use your savings for it. And you don't know, there are these things, which always come up, they're always coming up and you're spending your money on them. And you, at the end of the month, you don't really know where most of your money is going to. But since we bought this place, we know where we are spending our money. Whether we want to buy a new light or, we want to, change the curtains or something. We see it, we see where the money is going to. And even if we are saving something meager or something small, we can see where we are spending our money. Of course, things do still come up, but at least it helps us, to know where we are also spending some of our money. So I like that. Of course, again, be mindful that, you don't go wild, with, all these decor things because you think, oh, I own this home. Today you are changing light bulbs, tomorrow you are changing the glass, tomorrow you are changing doors. It can be costly. There are certain things that don't add value to the house. So those things, cosmetic things, you want to reduce them a bit. But if it adds value to the house, why not? And it helps you, know where your money is going into. And I kind of like that also. The fifth reason why I think, you should consider owning your own home is that it can become a source of income, really. It can become a side hustle. In my last video, I shared how I rented out, a spare room in my house to my brother, and he paid me, some rent, and that really helped me with, the ongoing cost of living crisis. So you can also do same. In fact, you can actually list your house or your room on Airbnb, and that can actually fetch a lot higher. The UK government allows you to earn up to 7,500 tax-free if you rent out a room in your house. So that works out to be about £650 per month, tax-free. So that can be good. I know this can be tempting, whereby you think of buying a big house and then rent out, 2 rooms or rent out 3 rooms. Be mindful. What if you don't get someone to rent the house? Or what if, you get a bad tenant who doesn't pay? Already, here in Scotland, there's a law, there's a rule, allowing tenants, not to be evicted in the winter. So you can get into a bad deal and it can affect you. So my advice is that go for a house you can afford on your own, so that any extra source of income become what it is, extra source of income, rather than depending on it. The final and perhaps the least reason why, I think you should consider owning your own home is that emotional element, that proud element, Hitherto, owning my own place, I struggled to know where to call home. As some of you may know, I'm originally from Ghana, and so whenever I talked about home, I was often referring to Ghana. And it was sometimes hard, to focus in the UK because I was often thinking of Ghana, investing in Ghana, everything Ghana, until I actually owned my own place. And now that I own a piece of the King's land, I actually have focused more in the UK because I have an investment here, I have a commitment here. I pray for the country to succeed, because I have a stake here. And so I think that is a proud moment. And to be honest, for an immigrant to own a piece of the land you live in, I think it's no mean achievement and a privilege I do not take for granted. I'm super grateful to God and the opportunities that I have, to do what I do. Of course, that should not be the sole reason to enter into a bad deal, because it could hurt if you go for a bad mortgage deal or a bad house. So if your time is not right, you can please wait until you find a good deal. I hope you found this encouraging and you've seen the benefits of owning your own home. And I hope that has inspired you to start saving towards your own home. Let me know what other benefits I've not even considered, or why you bought your own home and some of the benefits you are enjoying. Let me know in the comment section and we can all learn from it. If you have any questions, do let me know. If you have any videos you want me to record, do let me know. This is a part of a series of videos I'm recording, so do check out the rest on what it means to be a homeowner. Thank you and stay blessed.